Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about something that affects your wallet every single day, even though you might not realize it. Tariffs. You've probably heard politicians argue about tariffs on the news. Maybe you've seen headlines about tariff wars with China or Europe. But what exactly are tariffs, and why should you care about them? Stick around, because understanding tariffs might help you make sense of why prices on everything from cars to washing machines keep climbing. A tariff is simply a tax on imported goods. When a company from another country wants to sell their products in the United States, our government charges them a fee to import those products. Here's how it works in practice. Let's say a company in Japan wants to sell televisions in America. The US government might impose a 15% tariff on those TVs. If the TV costs $1,000 to make and ship, the company now has to pay an additional $150 per television to sell it here. What does the company do next? They have two options. They can either eat that cost and make less profit, or they can pass that cost on to you, the American consumer, by raising their prices. Usually it's a mix of both, but you can bet a good chunk of that tariff ends up in the price tag you see at the store. Tariffs are collected by Customs and Border Protection, right at America's ports of entry. When foreign goods arrive at our ports, the importer has to declare what they're bringing in and pay any applicable tariffs before those goods can enter the country. These tariff rates vary a lot. Some products might face a small 2% tariff, while others get hit with 25% or higher. It depends on what the product is, which country it's coming from, and our current political relationship with that country. Now, you might be wondering, why do we have tariffs in the first place? That's a great question, and there are several reasons supporters give. The main argument is that tariffs protect American industries and workers from foreign competition. If companies in other countries can make products more cheaply, maybe because they pay their workers less or have fewer environmental regulations, American companies might not be able to compete. By making foreign goods more expensive through tariffs, the theory is that American companies can stay in business and American workers can keep their jobs. Tariffs also bring in money for the government. In fact, before income taxes became widespread in the early 20th century, tariffs were one of the federal government's main sources of revenue. Even today, they bring in billions of dollars annually. Some people also argue that certain industries are essential for national security. Take steel production, for example. If we became completely dependent on foreign countries for steel, we might be in trouble during an international conflict. Tariffs can help keep these strategic industries alive in the United States. Governments sometimes use tariffs as bargaining chips in trade negotiations. The message is basically, give us better terms for our exports, or we'll impose tariffs that hurt yours. Despite these potential benefits, economists point out that tariffs have serious downsides too. The most obvious problem is that they lead to higher prices for you and me. When a 25% tariff gets slapped on imported washing machines, the price at the big box store goes up. This affects everyone, but it's especially hard on lower-income families who spend a bigger percentage of their income on consumer goods. Tariffs can also reduce your choices as a consumer. When foreign products become too expensive because of tariffs, some may disappear from the market entirely, limiting what you can buy. When we impose tariffs on another country's products, they usually retaliate with tariffs on American exports. This hurts American businesses that sell their products overseas. American farmers, for instance, have often seen their foreign markets dry up when other countries impose retaliatory tariffs on U.S. agricultural products. Most economists will tell you that tariffs generally lead to economic inefficiency. If a country uses tariffs to prop up industries where it doesn't have a natural advantage, resources get diverted from more productive uses. This can slow down economic growth over time. Let me share a historical example that shows how tariffs can go wrong. The Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. This might sound like ancient history, but it offers lessons that are still relevant today. As the Great Depression was beginning, Senator Reed Smoot and Representative Willis Hawley pushed a bill to raise tariffs on over 20,000 imported goods to record levels. The idea was to protect American farmers and manufacturers from foreign competition during tough economic times. President Herbert Hoover signed the bill despite a petition signed by more than 1,000 economists begging him not to. What happened next was economic disaster. Other countries immediately retaliated with their own high tariffs against American goods. International trade collapsed, dropping by about 66% between 1929 and 1934. And instead of protecting American jobs, many historians and economists believe Smoot-Hawley actually made the Great Depression worse and longer. The failure of Smoot-Hawley eventually led to a complete reversal in American trade policy. Under President Franklin Roosevelt, the U.S. began reducing tariffs and working more cooperatively with other countries on trade. So how do tariffs affect your daily life? There are several ways. First, they impact the prices you pay. When tariffs are placed on consumer goods like electronics, appliances, or food, you end up paying more. During recent trade disputes, Americans saw price increases on everything from washing machines to solar panels to European wines and cheeses. Second, tariffs affect job security, creating both winners and losers. If you work in an industry protected by tariffs, like steel or aluminum production, tariffs might help secure your job. But if you work for a company that uses those materials, such as auto manufacturers or construction firms, higher costs due to tariffs could lead to layoffs. Third, tariffs and trade tensions can cause volatility in the stock market. If you have investments or retirement accounts, you might see their value fluctuate when major tariff announcements are made. Finally, widespread tariffs can contribute to general inflation, reducing the purchasing power of your money across the board. It's important to understand that tariffs don't exist in isolation. They're one tool in a complex system of international trade relationships that includes free trade agreements, the World Trade Organization, and various non-tariff barriers to trade. The United States currently has free trade agreements with 20 countries that eliminate or reduce tariffs. The US-Mexico-Canada Agreement, which replaced NAFTA in 2020, is one major example. The debate over tariffs isn't black and white. There are legitimate arguments on both sides, and the right approach probably involves finding a balance that protects American interests while recognizing the benefits of international trade. The question isn't usually whether all tariffs are good or bad, but rather which specific industries might benefit from protection. How high should tariff rates be? How long should tariffs remain in place? And what other policies might better address our economic challenges? Reasonable people can disagree about these questions. What's important is understanding the trade-offs involved so you can form your own informed opinion when tariffs dominate the news cycle. Tariffs may seem like abstract economic policy, but as we've seen, their effects ripple through your daily life in very real ways. Whether you're paying more for imported goods, experiencing changes in your industry's job market, or simply trying to understand the headlines, having a basic grasp of tariffs helps you make sense of an important aspect of economic policy. The next time you hear politicians debating tariffs, you'll be better equipped to evaluate their arguments and understand what's really at stake. And that's what being an informed citizen is all about. Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe for more videos that break down complex economic topics into plain English. Drop a comment below with any questions or topics you'd like me to cover in future videos.